Chicago, can you hear me? Over the grind and spray of the CTA. Chicago, can you hear me? Over the Malortmas holiday, which is every day. Chicago, can you hear me? Over the constant whinging whenever a team ain't winning. Chicago, can you hear me? Come out of the front room, I'm in the gangway, tapping on the mic a couple, 2-3 times. Over the certain coronary your dietary traditions threaten, but only to those that don't know how to do it. Deep dishes for tourists, dip beef is for professionals, and we walk everywhere even when there's nowhere to walk. There's always a dive bar nearby, grimy on the front to keep the polo shirts out. But inside, it's a whole Netflix series of regulars that'll buy a shot of Four Roses, even though that's from Kentucky. It's as honorary as Old Style. That's from Wisconsin. And though it can Wisconsin seem like a supper club, you'll harden to an Olive Garden into part of the crew. You'll get a nickname like this fucking guy. Or the fuck. Or you still fucking here? That's how you know you're still here. And once you're here, you're family. Some of you tuned out because you TikTok too much. But Chicago, can you hear me? I know it's weird, and sorry it's weird, but I gotta say it, I love you. It's weird to say you love something. I read the news. I know devotion isn't de rigueur these days, but like I fucking love you, goddammit. And I'm talking to you, Chicago, today. The rest of whoever's watching can chill the fuck out and power down, have a breadstick or whatever they eat where they are. Take a break. The comments are off. We're not talking to you. Chicago, I'm talking to you. And I know you can hear me. We gotta do something about the rats. Look, I know we got a reputation all over the world thanks to social media and some smooth hairs with wild eyes and veneers that can land a plane saying we're scary. For my money, that's fucking fine. Keep those creeps out, let the real ones in. Keeps the beer prices down. But we gotta talk about it in the winter when they're hiding. We got to do something about the rats. For the 9th year in a row, we were named rattiest city in the world. And yeah, okay, admittedly, that sounds kind of fucking fun in a Peaky Blinders kind of way. Like I watched Cillian Murphy be the head of the rat gang of Chicago. Oh yeah, fucking savage looks and his fit is always cozy as fuck. Those newsy caps wear him. Fucking stellar representation of the romance hearing that you're the rattiest can bring. But it's not awesome. Most of you male-getting mammals think it's my kind that's an issue, because we drop hot deuces on your Dodges. Just don't park in my shitting spot, Greg, and we won't have a fucking problem. Chicago, can you hear me? It is estimated that rats invade over 21 million homes a year across the country. In Chicago, like me, they fucking love you. Who wouldn't? Have you seen you? And these facts and figures are coming from Orkin. In case you think I'm being dramatic, they know their shit. That's all they do. They are the actual Ghostbusters. Weird shit happening to you in your home, manifesting itself in some kind of creepy fucking corporeal form, skitting across your floor, hiding in closets and bursting out eating your food, and there's a fucking demon in your fridge. Orkin will show up, man. They're ready to believe you. So when they go public saying something like, for the 9th year in a row, we got a rat problem, Chicago, we got a rat problem. Now, before I continue, I'm not saying we got a problem with rats. No one's a fucking rat. We don't say shit. I don't know shit. I didn't see shit. You hear me? I'm saying we got a rat problem. Orkin said so. So much do we have one that we got shrines. Now, I'm not blaming anybody for setting up shrines. Shrines are awesome. I play Breath of the Wild. I fucking love a shrine. Gotta have a shrine. That's how you keep ghosts out. Orkin will tell you that. Gotta honor that shit. That's important. But when you're honoring rats, well, that's how you get more. Because they know it's cool to hang out. For those of you on the social medias, Chicago Rat Hole is a famous location here in the city. With many famous locations. You got your Untouchables haunts, Batman stuff, fucking Kinsey Bridge where the fucking Dave Matthews Band dumped their tour bus shitter out over the river. Right when a tour bus passed, quote, drenching passengers with 800 pounds of human poop, or so says the actual plaque that the Riot Fest Historical Society had commissioned on the spot. Quote, no one died that day, but many wish they had. The Chicago rat hole is the spot the locals lovingly stroll by hand in hand, be it Valentine's Day, Christmas, casual Friday, doesn't fucking matter, it's home. The Chicago rat hole is iconic as the skyline, or the Wiener Circle, or the old Captain Nemo sub sign on Lakeview. You know what I'm talking about. That's how you knew you were close to fucking Addison when you were stumbling down Ashland, but it's gone now. That's how it goes. The Chicago rat hole shrine, well, that's still fucking here. And now, it's fucking famous. For those of you not from Chicago, I'll pivot for a second and help you out. The Chicago rat hole is as advertised. Don't go Googling reservations for the Chicago rat hole. You're gonna be disappointed in the service. Take your hands off the Yelp. It's an authentic Chicago experience, not one catered to those looking for a fun time, but they don't want to get dirty. Get back in your Lexus RX XUVs and get back to the burbs. It's a fucking hole in the sidewalk where a rat fell in the concrete. More specifically, it is a rodent-shaped hole in the sidewalk concrete in the Roscoe Village. Looks like a mob hit in a Pixar film. Now, there is speculation as to whether or not it was actually a rat that somehow pressed into the outline and got away like a Looney Tune hauled ass through a brick wall. The director of the Urban Wildlife Institute at the Lincoln Park Zoo says, quote, "First, when we think about what kind of animal could fall from a height and land in wet concrete, it's more likely to be a squirrel." Yes, we heard you. It's more likely to be a squirrel with all the time they send in the branches, he said, quote, "We think of them as really balletic and graceful, and they are. But I've seen one of them actually just take a header straight out of a tree, so yeah, they'll do that," which is the most Chicago answer I've ever heard about any kind of wildlife at all. You ask a Chicagoan what their favorite breed of dog is, they'll tell you, "I don't know, but I saw this one get its head stuck in a Triscuit box, and that was fucking hilarious." And they're right, that's the best breed of dog. And even if it is true that the famed Chicago rat hole is actually a squirrel, assuming upon first cursory glance that it is a rat shows you how bad the fucking rat problem is. The rat hole gained some fucking fanfare over January. Hometown homie Winslow Dumaine posted about it, and now everyone knows about the Chicago rat hole, so it's not as cool as it used to be. The lines are longer, the prices are higher, you have to have a res, VIP packages are the worst. And in revenge for the new noise ordinances, someone filled the rat hole in with concrete. And you think that would be retribution and we could get on with our lives, but no. There was a reprisal to the revenge, and someone redug the rat hole back before the concrete could dry, and the rat hole reigned supreme, and there's a fucking shrine! And I get it. The rat hole was a meeting spot, a landmark, a reminder when you were so wasted you had to zombie stumble home. Your only view was your shoes and the pavement in the darkness. And then you saw the fucking rat hole and knew where you were. Maybe now is the time to call a lift because the brown line stopped running and you got a Lord of the Rings hike home extended edition. For 6 years, it has been the unofficial mascot of the North Side softball team, the Lee Elliott Experience, and they called it Little Stucky. They got a contest going right now to name the rat hole, and the chief contender is Chimley, Flatatouille, and the Roscoe Rat. Benny the fucking Bull dumped some popcorn on Little Stucky. It's been here for 20 years. It's iconic, and that's not shocking coming from the rattiest city in America, in the state birthplace of Scabby the Rat himself. Chicago, can you hear me? We got a problem because rats are no joke. I've seen them. They don't give a shit. They're diseased, and we got to stop encouraging them. The Department of Sanitation says it's because exposed garbage like the food. And I don't know if you've been listening to me, but you got the best fucking food in the country. You can't just keep it out like a loved one's ashes on the mantle. You want ghosts? That's how you get them. Well, you got them. Now you're building shrines, filling them in, and then carving them back out again and making them viral sensations, and god damn it, I get it. Can't help get it. Chicago, can you hear me? From your beef to your malort to your landmarks and legacies, over the grind to the CTA, all the way down to the rat, possibly squirrel shrines, on up to your skyline. I know it's not in fashion. I know it's not cool these days. I know it's not fashionable, chic, hot, mod, swank, stylish to say it, but Chicago, if you can hear me, I fucking love you. Good night.
Chad the Bird. Chad the Bird.